Okay. Hi, HJ. It's good you can make it.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Or yeah.
What's up? What's up?
Good. That's another great background you have there. A book.
Yeah, it's part of my personal branding, so I always keep it like that.
That's great. Okay, I will get this started and share screen and get that. Get this started. Hopefully everybody can see that.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Good. Excellent. Sure there'll be people coming in. So this is something I've been wanting to do for some time. Early in the year, I did a bit on Messenger, but with this, I'm actually going to use, about Messenger and how to, basically use Messenger and a bit of software called AMM Pro, which I use to really, accelerate your booking appointments. Because in Messenger, it's not selling in Messenger, it's all about booking appointments. So contrary to popular opinion, and where a lot of people are using Messenger to kind of pitch and, in terms of their sales and some, I'm not saying that doesn't work, but I think for most people are getting pitched in Messenger all the time, and I don't think this is effective anymore. So what I'm going to show you here is what I use, and I've been booking calls with this strategy, for the last 12, 16 months. So hopefully.
So just a quick question, if I may ask you.
Sure, go ahead.
So does this strategy also work for, let's say, LinkedIn messaging or Twitter messages, or it's only for Facebook messaging?
The psychology around it, you can put it in LinkedIn in terms of messaging. You're having a conversation, doesn't matter this is in Messenger or LinkedIn. So kind of, I'll demonstrate in terms of how to open a conversation, nurture a conversation, how to pivot to the call in terms of what I want to do.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay. Okay, just a bit about me. Probably with that. So I've been online since October 2018. Been down many rabbit holes, websites, marketing agency, funnels, to name but a few. And then pivoted to organic marketing. And then I have my own one-on-one coaching program, which, I like this building my personal brand, building a reputation. It's much more sustainable in the long run, I think, than maybe, direct response marketing. But I'm not, I don't, people are in that space, and good luck to them. But I prefer more the organic side of things. Okay. So what you'll learn today is opening and pivoting to book an appointment, which if you're in the coaching space, that's your metric. You're booking appointments, holding appointments, you're making offers, and you're making sales. So appointments is everything in this game. How to track your prospects. So you're only focused on motivated people. So you may be having conversations in Messenger, but you want to actually focus on people who are actually ready to take the next step, not focusing on people who maybe are not serious. So I'll show you how that piece of software can help, kind of where you are tracking the right people. And how to automate opening messages. So once you're finding groups that are very aligned to kind of your avatar, you can actually use you can automate some of that opening messages portion. So I'll show you exactly how that works as well. So I've seen this yesterday. I thought it struck me as kind of, you don't automate to get rid of the human, you automate to amplify the human. So it's with all the talk of AI at the minute and kind of ChatGPT and all the wonderful things it can do. I must admit, I'm not sort of running to the door thinking, I must have this. No one's going to replace you, especially if you're in the coaching space. Last time I looked, people want to deal with people, not some AI bot or some kind of people that, and in some ways it actually is hiding people in terms of the skills that I have if they're using AI. So I'm not against automation, but it should not replace in terms of the skills and experience and the genius you have as a coach. Right, opening. So this is sort of the framework. I'll talk about opening and I'll talk about how you pivot to the call in terms of what I do. So this is more the framework that I use. And it's all based on sort of, Messenger is all about, dating. In terms of the analogy between, dating and, Messenger is very similar. And the opening is basically the first date. That first date that could be cold outreach, at the start, if you're just building your audience to start with, maybe you are, that might be your first outreach. You might not have built your audience up. So it's a very cold audience. But I would, over time, you're building your content out, you're building kind of people to get raised hands in your content, and you're moving them into Messenger to have a conversation. But it's still that first date. So first date is kind of friend requested, accepted. So you maybe sent out a friend request, they've accepted that. And then maybe audit their profile. I always go in, I don't just kind of, someone accepts a friends, I would go in and look at their content, look at the profile. If it's not aligned to kind of, or the vibe isn't right with that particular person, I make a judgment call and I just don't go further. If that person is not one I want to kind of proceed, I just say, no, I move on to the next. I don't waste time to kind of, trying to kind of find something that isn't there. And then send first message using their content. So this is, a lot of people just, 99, but they just send something out and they've never looked at their content. They've never engaged with them in terms of their content. I would recommend when you're sending a first message out, leverage their content as an opening to start that conversation. It will set you apart from 99% of other people are doing. They're just blasting out messages and, join my group, or here's my offer. Okay. And they have no idea who you are. So again, I come back to that dating analogy. It's like marrying them on the first date. It's not, that is the wrong way of doing it. And in 2023, it doesn't work. Anybody's coming to me with that thing and things of, that they have this wonderful thing that I must know about, and they haven't engaged with me properly. I'm not interested. I really am not interested. So in terms of kind of how that would look from an opening point of view, I put some context in terms of a message here that I've used. So, hey, Naeem, hey, I just caught your last post on XYZ. I really love the way you dealt with that situation. So you're validating straight away. It's all about them. It's not about you. And then sort of put it more personal. I'm actually dealing with the same thing. So you're saying, I'm dealing with that. What was the biggest thing you did to overcome that limiting belief about this? So, you're actually open question. You do not want yes or no answers on that question. You want them to open up and give them space to kind of reply, an expansive reply back to you. And then, once you get that, opening, you just keep the vibe and the flow of the conversation going and watch the vibe in terms of that they're opening up. Those are sort of I call them like micro commitments in terms of that flow going back and forward. You're building up trust. You're coming from the right place. You're not there to sell them. You're there to kind of build a relationship and to help and show that actually you can help them at the end of the day. Feel free to leave conversation, come back to it 1 or 3 days later. So I personally don't, if it's someone I've just started a conversation, rarely do I take it, right to kind of proposing a call straight away. I would leave that conversation because it's like, the first date analogy. You don't sort of ask for dinner maybe on the first date. So you're kind of looking to build that relationship, maybe come back to it later on after 1 or 3 days. So that's typically the opening you would do, typically cold outreach. Maybe there's more work in terms of validating them and kind of getting, whereas if you've got something from your content, from a raised hand, or they kind of looking at content and they're more warmer, that initial conversation is possibly going to be much easier. That's why content and messenger go hand in glove. if your content is poor, your messenger game is going to be much harder. If your content's good, your messenger game is going to be much easier. So, okay, so we had an opening. So booking appointments. So this is, so this is what we're all about. This is what Messenger's about. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to sort of, just to continually kind of keep people, on your messenger. You want, if they're in the rut, you're taking people through the customer journey to kind of book an appointment with you. So if you can help them and present your offer. So the second date is like, follow up that opening question, go back to that and say 1 or 3 days, going back, see where they are in terms of, and then, and also engage with their stuff again, engage with their content again. Look at the kind of look at that previous conversation, analyze that, and then opening up in terms of something that they're dealing with. So there's another example. I've been following your content since we last spoke, and I got to say I love what you're doing. So you're validating them straight away. I hope this is not, and then this is the pivot to the call. I hope this is not inappropriate, but there are a few things you might want to do, get more engagement. So you're downplaying it. You're not coming, in terms of, I can help you kind of straight away. That is not where you want to come from. You want to relieve the pressure and of, I hope this is not appropriate. Would love to share over a short 15-minute pitch free call if you're interested. So you're saying I'm not there to sell. It's going to be short. It's a low friction call. If you're interested, no, and then have it again, relieve the pressure. No worries if this is not something you need right now. So it gives them an out. Hey, either way, I'm fine with this. So that type of, validating them, after a certain amount of building rapport, and hoping it's not inappropriate, when you're maybe pivoting the call, it might be a bit jarring, kind of in terms of you're moving the conversation to a business conversation, to move them into, a business call. So I hope this is not inappropriate. Love to share something over a call. No worries if it's not something you need right now. Also, depending on the market sophistication, don't ask too many questions and give them a reason for booking the call. This is really, with the coaching market, there's a lot of sophistication out the minute. A lot of people are getting pitched kind of all the time. So I personally don't ask a lot of questions in Messenger. I know a lot of people can do the typical triage call about, where they are, where are you doing, what's holding you back, what have you tried before? It's like, it's like 20 questions in Messenger. I frankly don't think that's appropriate in Messenger. I keep that for the call. It's a much more intimate experience when you can have someone in front of you, rather than bombarding people with kind of questions in Messenger. I'd say but again, that depends on the market sophistication. If you have a market that is not sophisticated, or kind of it's not saturated, you might get away with asking more questions. And does that make sense?
Yep, makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So just give you some ideas in terms of Messenger conversations opening. So this is Sophie. I had hi Sophie, thanks for accepting my friend request. I really love your last post on the growth you've achieved in the last 12 months. So I'm validating straight away. I'm kind of, I think I've engaged with their post. First of all, I've engaged with the post, saying I love that post, and not just engagement in likes or, just a lot of people just come in and just do kind of, I say it all the time, kind of just likes all the comment without actually putting any meaningful comment. Once you start, you've actually read something they've done and actually actually commented something worthwhile. That makes all the difference. You maybe take time in your day to do that, and that, people immediately, you stand out from most people. So I really love what you did last post achieved. Very similar to my answer. You kind of, you're bringing it back to you. Wasn't a very different place this time last year. What is your plans for 2022? So So, you know, I'm validating that. Yeah, I'm, you know, I was very similar in terms of what you're going through, but you know, what's your plans for, you know, so look at the reply I got from that. I got, you know, hi, Mike, I love your message. No more, actually a nice honor, look, good things, you know, just amazing work wise, definitely focusing. So she's opening up about, you know, what she's doing, coaching, energy work, yoga, deep. And so she's going, I know I'm getting a lot more information from her about where she is and kind of where, you know, her plans for the future, which opens up the conversation, and I can explore that further about kind of potential things that she's struggling with or she wants to move into that I could add value to. So this is the key in terms of, it's that opening question. It's coming from a place of you're there to help. It's not a place of, you know, here's my offer, or kind of, or join my group, or kind of that. It's because that's coming from an I. Yeah, I want. You're coming from a place of I'm interested in you, and you know what you want. Okay. So nurturing. So now we got the opening. Okay, how do you? This is sort of, you know, back and forward. You know, it's a judgment call in terms of how much nurturing you kind of do, but you can see, you know, in this example from Jenny is, you know, we've been going back and forward. If I'm just getting one word answers back from her, yes, no, I don't know. I know there's not enough trust built up yet. There's not enough rapport built up there. So I might have to do more work in terms of our content to kind of get that rapport building up. But I noticed from here, she's opening up about things where she lives in New York, you know, talking about Trump and kind of that sort of thing. So it's, you know, civil liberties, you know, we're getting a good rapport built. So, and at that point, you know, I had about 3, maybe 4, 5 messages, and then I pivoted the call. Hey, I love what the conversation's coming, they're going. I happen to look at such and such, love what you're doing, think I can add value to kind of what you're doing at the minute. I'd love to share that over, you know, pitch free call, blah, blah. So that's how I pivoted the call. Most people say yes. Most people say, you know, it kind of, there's a bit of sort of, should I pivot the call? But, you know, if you're having a normal conversation with someone, it should naturally flow from that. It should, they're opening up about it. Maybe they're asking questions about you, you know, you're asking questions about them. And then, you know, you're genuinely, you know, want to help them. So that asking for the call is not jarring. It's not sort of, should I, or shouldn't I? In some ways, I always have this saying, you know, go for the no. I would always, even the sort of that you're building up, you know, go for the no. If people say no, thank you, I'm working with someone, no, thank you, I don't really need help at the moment, that's fine. At least the no is measurable. And maybe isn't measurable, or if you're leaving the conversation hanging, that's, you know, how do you know if that's a potential prospect client if you not having to actually go proposing a call? Because you can't measure that. Because we'll talk about, you know, this is where your KPIs come in terms of how many conversations you had and how many calls, many appointments you proposed and many appointments held. So this is a metric in terms of what you're doing now. Okay, that's nurturing. And then booking appointments. So once we've built up rapport, and, you know, and again, I wouldn't say you're not there to make friends. Don't keep on going kind of, and you think, you know, sometimes the conversation gets really, you know, they're really involved and kind of the, you know, they feel, and you're building up, you know, you're building up a lot of rapport, but you've got to bring that back in terms of what you're there for. You're there for to, you know, book appointments with someone. You feel you can help. If you don't feel you can help, just leave it, you know, in terms of, you know, that they go off and it's not moving in the place that you want it to go. Then, you know, it's not a prospect to kind of further, but if you feel that it is a prospect, you can move on to your call. You know, again, using that, I just look at your profile, Linda, a few ideas that might help you with getting better engagement, teaching more. Up to 15-minute free call, I could give you some feedback. So again, very low friction, nothing to kind of, sense that, I'm there genuinely to help the other person. That would be great. Not today, tomorrow, only Wednesday onward, no worries. Dropping booking links. So I've actually put a booking link in there. Now, there's two ways of doing it. Booking links, you have to follow up a lot of times. It's like there's more friction with a booking link. I like booking links because I know it's in my calendar. And then I kind of live or die by my calendar. So I put the booking link in the calendar. So it doesn't get, I don't get mixed up in terms of, okay, what did this guy book? And I have to, so personally, I use booking link. The less friction is actually, you say, give them 2 times and tell them to pick one. I've got a morning at 9 o'clock, or I've got an afternoon at 2 o'clock. I would test both kind of in terms of what works for you. But for me, booking links work. You might have to follow up and say, have you booked, blah, blah, blah. Will do. And then, it's in your calendar. And the beauty with Calendly is you can put questions within Calendly. You can actually get some information before they actually get on the call about, are they interested? Where are you in your coaching journey? What is your major challenge at the minute? Why, what have you tried before? But you can actually I wouldn't put too many questions at the start, because again, this is just the first call. If it goes well, you're going to maybe scheduling that offer sales call later on, and you get more detailed at that point. But for this call, you can ask, maybe 2 or 3 questions just to sort of give them, get more information about where they are in their journey. Does that make sense? Good. Everybody's a bit quiet. That's good. Okay, so that's appointments, and that's the key metric. We're doing the appointments held. So every week, in terms of, okay, how many appointments did I book this week? If I booked 10 appointments this week, okay, how many of those appointments are going to turn into sales calls? And how many of those sales calls I'm going to present my offer to, and how many sales I'm going to make from that offer? So this is the key metric in terms of proposing and them accepting your appointment. And it's in your calendar, because once it's in your calendar, you can measure that in terms of, yep, I've got 10 appointments this week, right? Based on, many appointments, 1 in 4 or 5 of those people will result in a sales call. And of those, one of those, and maybe 1 in 3 of those sales calls will result in a sale. So, and you can work back from that in terms of, okay, I need 1 sale a week. How many sales calls I need to have, and how many discovery calls? This is the first call, the first discovery call I need to have. So you can work it back, and how many conversations you're going to have. But the conversations you're having is framed from the right place. If you're not framed from the right place, or have that you won't be booking it, because you're not giving out that right intention. Okay, messenger conversations. So that's basically the process in terms of the messenger conversations. So you may be having all of these conversations, track, and then there's Dawn on the call. Now that tracking conversations using LM Pro, this is where the software piece comes into it. The software piece shouldn't negate, it shouldn't be just relied on to get you appointments. What I've shown you is the messenger psychology of kind of getting, once you have that down, once you understand that psychology of actually opening, nurturing, and booking calls, okay, how do I manage all of these conversations so I'm focusing on the right person? So this is where we're tracking the conversations, whereby on the left-hand side here, it's usually on Messenger, it's on a browser, and kind of when you have Messenger, you usually just have the name of the person you're talking to. You don't. What you're seeing here on the right-hand side is that extension, the LM Pro automation software, whereby it actually puts tags against each other, each one. So we'll have, that will be the customer journey in terms of the tag they're going through. So I will just break the presentation and show you an example of that. of this actually in practice. So there is a good friend of mine, Jason. Good. So this is like there's Jane Anthea there, who's recently joined me. So she's that all that's the tags associated with each of the customer journey. You know, appointment cancelled, appointment no show, appointment proposed. So that's the appointment proposed. So if you were having a conversation, say, hey, love to get onto a 15-minute call with you, you would say, you know, you would immediately go into Messenger and change that to appointment proposed. So that would be, you would know exactly where people were in that customer journey in terms of all of those conversations. So you're not losing that person, because you're going to be having all these conversations with people and say, well, you know, how am I going to, you know, apart from kind of copying everything and putting into a spreadsheet, which is unbelievably laborious, this sort of extension, you can set up the customer journey from we've had an initial opening, you know, put nurturing, I think there's a nurturing, yeah, there's a nurturing here. There's a nurturing tag with nurturing people to kind of, you know, proposing call. And I'll just give you a sneak peek in terms of where this all ends up, because, you know, this is one part of it, you know, into Messenger, and you can take all of that information, the kind of all the tags, and put it into a CRM, which is really quite powerful. So this is my back-end CRM, whereby on the top, you see here is the customer journey. So what the nurturing we talked about. So all these are the conversations I'm having with people. So, and then, you know, proposed, appointment, you know, canceled, so many people canceled, appointment no show, follow-up call, that's basically the sales call book, canceled, you know, and then I've got short-term follow-ups, long-term follow-up, because a lot of people will not be in the right place. But you don't want to lose those people and say, hey, come back in 2 or 3 months' time. So you put a different tag that they're still in your list to sort of, you know, that you can touch base later on. So there is the API of this extension. You can link it to that CRM in terms of whatever you change here. Like if I change, I know Anthony is a client, so I would change, if I changed, you know, if I changed Anthony to booked appointment, for instance, if I just changed that to booked appointment and I went back to my thing, there's Anthea's come up and booked appointment instantaneously. So it comes booked appointment there, sorry. So you say just, she's booked appointment, I know exactly she's booked appointment in there. So from a snapshot point of view, I can see everything in terms of my business from one page. That's like, I didn't want, but that's the back end. The front end is here in terms of creating those tags, seeing where people are in the customer journey in terms of what you're moving them along to kind of book a call, held call, offer made, you know, client in terms of that. And using the psychology of the Messenger framework, the kind of the book those calls. Does that make sense? Does that kind of silence again? Good. So that's
Michael, it's Tracy.
Yeah.
So you've created all those tags, obviously.
Yeah, I created those tags.
You've created them to suit your business.
Yeah, it's similar.
Model.
You know, you're coaching. You would. I'll show you kind of that. That's pretty detailed in terms of all of those tags. You can simplify it to sort of, you know, cold, warm, hot tags. You're having like that would be if you're starting a conversation that's still cold, maybe, and then you're proposing a call that's warm. It's scheduled and held the call and, you know, made an offer. That's hot. So you can it doesn't have to be a sophisticated tag system like that I have here, but you can kind of set up the tags to sort of just, so I'm talking about focusing on the right people. So There's another element of this whereby, okay, that's the Chrome extension, it's just on top of Messenger when you bring it up. But there's a button here called Back Office, and you click the Back Office, it like opens up a new tab, so you can see exactly everybody. Like I've got, you know, a ridiculous number of people new in terms of conversations. That shows to me I need to move those people further on the customer journey. But those are 2,482 people that have new people that have come in that, you know, I've friend requested, kind of people have, you know, that I could have a conversation with. So moving those people to kind of through you know, the customer journey to, you know, book a call, potentially client. So I can see once I click here, you know, there's proposed for, I can, you know, those people will, yeah, that would show you exactly each one. It's a bit laggy sometimes through Zoom, but that each one of those would be, you know, you would see the 4 people, 4 contacts, you know, there's 4 contacts. And you can set up automations from there. The whole thing, this does a lot more than I'm just going, and probably I'll do it, show maybe in another workshop, is the automation, whereby you can select those people and do certain automation to that. If they, you know, you can send off other messages to them as well. So it's quite powerful in terms of what it can do.
So, Michael, can I just ask, I'm just curious. So, you know, okay, you've got your profile on Facebook, and obviously these 2,481 people have connected with you in some way through your Facebook ads, or have you reached out to them?
No, that's just friend requests. That's kind of friend request.
Yeah. So you've read some of their content and gone, oh, I'll send you a friend request.
That's right.
And start the journey.
Yes, that's accepted friend request. And maybe I have sent my first email. I have maybe sent my first outreach message to those people. Maybe they haven't replied yet, and I need to go back to these people to start that conversation, to move them into nurturing.
Yep. Great. Thank you.
So Michael, just a question. So if I got it right, this works only on your personal Facebook profile, not on your business page. Am I right, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, that's coming because the maximum organic reach is from your profile. It's not from your Facebook page. Your Facebook page, the organic reach is minimal. This is okay. This is mainly, it's from your yeah, it's linked up to your profile.
Okay, so my question is, usually people reserve their personal profiles for personal use. So unlike LinkedIn, which is a business use. That's so right. When we start to reach out to people on Facebook on a personal level, so first of all, there is less information about themselves from a business perspective because it's personal. So how can we,
change it? You kind of, you brand it from your personal, you can brand from your business page to your profile, it's, you can create, whatever you had on your business profile branding, you can put it on your profile.
Okay, got you. But won't people be irritated, like it's for personal use? And
if you look at most people, that's what they're doing. If you look at personal profiles, most people are using it as a business profile, as a for their business, because they know that's where the maximum organic reach is going to come from.
Sure. So maybe I need to rewire my brain, because I really dumped Facebook like years ago. Now I need to rewire my brain to really reconsider Facebook.
Basically, your Facebook page or business page is for advertisement. If you're having your best content, put it on your Facebook page. Maybe run ads for them, people check out your page and engage with your content through there. But it's really from Facebook advertising point of view. I don't use my Facebook. I have a Facebook page, but I don't use it. I use the Facebook profile and Facebook group. That's the two I use.
Okay, and the system also works on Facebook groups?
I would have to check out that in terms of whether it kind of works on Facebook groups. I think it's mainly Facebook profile. but I'll
I
get
mean,
back. to you.
our groups, if we have a group, if we own a group and we want to message the members in the group, can
Yes.
this automation also work on it?
There's other tools in terms of Facebook group, which are probably
Okay.
beyond the scope of this, what I'm showing you. But there's other tools in Facebook group where you can do mass, communications in Facebook group. But this is mainly, using your friends. You're adding friends and you're kind of bringing those type of friends into your world to message those people to book appointments. Because that's
Clear.
you've got 5,000 up to 5,000 friends on your profile that you potentially could be, potential clients of yours. So you're adding friends to have conversations, to book calls, make up.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay. So I'll go back to the presentation. So I'll just touch on that tags again. So as I say, the tags, you're setting up the tags to move people through the customer journey in terms of booking a call. So just touching on what you said, Tracy, you don't need everything complicated in terms of what I did. Cold, warm, and hot, the tags if you're setting this up from scratch. So cold, maybe a person engages, the cold lead. So someone who's engaged with that, okay, they're somewhat interested. Warm, and maybe a person expresses interest in your offer. So maybe you've had that. Warm, and interested and kind of wanted to know more about kind of what you provide. And hot leads are ready to buy your offer. Basically, you've booked the call, you've made, they're ready to purchase. So you can get away with just a very basic tagging system. Right, outreach tags. Now, this is another aspect of the software. Now, this is more the automated. The final point I was talking about automation in groups and in posts. So groups, you can set up automation to add people automatically from groups and send them a message. So you don't have to do that. But one caution about doing this, you need to find groups that are gated, who are basically, you might have to kind of pay a low ticket to get in. You don't want in public groups, because mainly public groups are full of people already pitching, kind of spammers, kind of all those people. You don't want to kind of be having conversations with people like that. You want to be finding people with high intent who are looking for a solution that potentially you could provide. So the best people with high intent have actually maybe paid some financial transaction to get into a group. And if you got paid a low ticket price to get access to that group, you're in front of people who you can actually want to bring into your world. And that's where automation comes in. We're saying, if you've got a group, say of 3,000 people or high intent, they're looking for, maybe there's an influencer or someone who's doing a challenge or whatever, and you're in the similar space that they are in. Only a small portion of that group are going to maybe resonate with that person, but but they might resonate with you. So you want to, if you can get access to those type of groups and set up sort of automation to bring people in the world, and then, start conversations with this type of tool, it just takes the legwork out of everything. You can rapidly get in front of people and, wake up next morning, sending out 20, 30, friend requests plus starting a conversation, and you can get people back, wanting to, continue that conversation, eventually move them along to booking a call. So I'll just show you exactly what this means. So this is, there's something in group, and, you create a message, basically a standard message goes out. It's an open-based message whereby it's inviting people to have that conversation. Just like I taught that the manual thing, but it's not built for each individual. It's built for the group and kind of the aspects of that group. Okay, I'll just show you. Oh my God. So let's grow. This is a group I've, what's the word, farmed. It's a dreadful word, but it's basically, it's you go into a group in terms of what, you know, something is very aligned to your services. You find kind of, you know, that you can sort of say, well, my target audience is in there. There's people I want to get in front of. And maybe you paid a low ticket to kind of get into that group. You want to get in front of those people. So these are people here. Oh, there's, I think it's 3,500 that you can send out automatic messages to. And this is what this does, whereby you can put a tag. So instead of the tags, the kind of the basic tags and moving people manually through it, you create a tag that is that message. So that message of, hi, such and such, I see you're in the 5-day launch first challenge. How are you finding, open question, how are you finding the challenge? Would be possibly the first question to invite people to come back. So a number of requests, you can, I think it's usually, you don't want to send more than about 20 requests at any one time. And then you would have that only new, you only when talking to people new that you haven't talked with before. I usually put that 20 their interval in terms of people, you know, sending the next message request, and you just say start. So then the software just kicks off at that point, whereby it'll go through that list and find people you haven't talked with before and start conversations. So hopefully I'll run through this live here online, whereby it'll go there. See, one down at the bottom, I have 0 to 20. So it's going through it's going through each one of those, say highlighted, and it will find people that I haven't, not in my list, and send them a message. So, like, you know, it'll run itself over a while. So you can go and do something else. You can go and kind of, you know, work on your business. Probably keep this open in terms of a screen, but you can do something else. See, there's Melanie. So it's opening up the friends. It's going to, it's looking the messenger. Yep, it's moving up messenger, and it will send that friend request to Melanie. Just think of that. Hopefully it'll come up. So that you create that message, and it will send that message to all these people that are not your friends. So they'll come up and messenger each of that, and you're just starting that conversation. So here it's coming up. Hey Melanie, through learning about challenges signing up to Richmond. It's Richmond Inns 5-day launch challenge. So you're not, don't think you're you're leveraging someone else's audience. It's not stealing someone. People will identify with that person and then they sign up with that person. Great, but other people will not be identified with that. And that's all you're doing. You're not trying to, it's not manipulative to kind of, you know, moving people to kind of to your program or your way thing. You're just opening conversation to open the idea of whether they are a good fit for your services. If not, fine. Maybe they want to stay where they are. That's okay. But this is just software to, you know, start those conversations in a very aligned group that you know your audience is hanging out. So say this will just run itself until those 20 are done. So I'll just come back, insert half an hour, and all of those messages will have been sent out. And a portion of that people reply to, and you know, you can continue those conversations on. So say it's not to be used in public groups. I would not use this on public groups. I would find more private groups that are more intentional about people who want you're more aligned with your services. Okay. Does that make sense? So again, this is, you can do this for groups, or you can do it on posts as well. If you've got if you've got a lot of people maybe on your post, you've done a post, and you're maybe got a lot of engagement on that post, or a lot of people liked on that post, you can set us up as well about your particular, something about your post. And so you're not replying to everybody on your post as well. So it works for posts and groups as well.
So it's actually what you're doing is building your audience,
That's right.
are you? You're building your prospects.
That's correct.
Because
This
yeah.
Because the thing, it's sending out, I'm not friends with these people yet. You don't need to be friends to send a message, by the way. I don't need to, I'm starting conversations, and I'm not having friends. I've had people book calls who are not my friends. I've never accepted my friend request, but I'm still, the thing, it's more, when you have a message, more people are applied to a message than a friend request. You're sending out friends in terms of friends, then you have to kind of go in and, but if you send out friend request plus message, it's more likely people reply to you. So this does that for you automatically in a very aligned group.
And as you say, you're picking those groups that or those people that sit within your niche, really, aren't you?
That's right.
Like,
this is more gated groups. I would not go into public because it's just too saturated with all manner of rubbish. So I would, if you're going to get into sort of a gated group that's sort of aligned to kind of, an influencer or some kind of big group, I'd pick a big group. You're talking about 3,000, 5,000, 6,000 people. If you can get access to that person, even if you paid, $47 or $97 to get access to that group, imagine, to get in front of those very intentional people, to have those conversations, you could reap massive rewards in terms of kind of building, conversations and booking calls for those people. So there, I'm just letting that go. Like I could stop that or, So I will go back to the presentation. So that is outreach tags. Okay. So that's group tags, as I say, setting up your message, sending out to the kind of an aligned group, usually a private group, or you can do, say, posts. You can do it on posts as well. Posts are actually, in some ways, I haven't really done a lot of posts, but posts are actually much more niche, because maybe that post has a specific topic, a particular thing that people are resonating with. If you get a post that's like 200 comments on it, or massive amount of likes, that has resonated with a lot of people on a particular topic or subject that maybe is aligned to what you provide. So you're kind of building up, if you're in front of that person, building up relationship conversations with those people, that you can help them as well. So groups, are much broader, that's in that, but posts actually, it's niching down to specific niche and specific kind of thing that they're dealing with. So as I say, this is just running in the background without me doing anything. So
sorry, Michael, just I have a question. Will Facebook ever try to restrict our account if we use such an automation?
yes, well, I'll tell you why. That in the message is what I've got a rotation in the message. In terms of, I have different variations of that message. So it spins, got three types of opening, 3 types of interests, and 3 types of questions. So it's spinning different messages. If I was to look at all these messages, they're slightly different. They're all slightly different. Okay. So it's not flagging in terms of you're spamming to people all the time, or the AI, Facebook says, because it'll restrict your account. You're right. If you're sending out a lot of messages, the same thing, Facebook will restrict your account. But if you're using this, I've never been restricted by using this. Because you're using
Okay,
you're using the software that whatever there, that intro interests, that intro has 3 variations of an intro. Those interests have 3 variations of interests. And there's actually, I usually have a question and then you have 3 maybe questions as well. And that's rotating those different things. Sometimes you get that. So you just let it run, kind of that, and you know that.
okay.
So
And
I'll let
it's
that
an
run.
app by itself, or it's in the browser? So we open that
Chrome
app inside of Chrome.
I'll show
It's a
you.
Chrome extension. Okay, that means we need to have always our Chrome open for this tool to be running.
Yeah, you can have it. You know, as I say, I've had it running here, and I could be doing something else. It just runs in the background.
Okay,
So there's.
it could be minimized in a way. Okay.
Yeah, you can minimize it. So
Yeah.
that's it there. Messenger Pro kind of tags, and then that's the customer journey. So that's the manual in terms of that. But that's you would create that tag for that particular group, that particular thing, and then you know there's 697 people. So I've 697 people that I have sent messages to. In starting conversations with those people. You know, the percentage of that that potentially turn into a client, the potential conversation using that same strategy, being intentional about that, and booking calls, you will have your calendar full. Sort of that.
So Michael, how many, like, how often are you sending these messages out? So you know, you talk about, you know.
You do it in your daily routine. Hey, I've got my post. Hey, how many messages I'm going to send today in the morning, and just set it up.
Okay. Yeah. So you might say, oh, I'm going to do 20 messages a day, and
that's right. I do 20, usually 20 in the morning, say another 20 in the evening. So you don't overload the thing. So I do 40 a day. So 40 a day. And those 40 messages are actually friend requests as well. So many people will actually accept your friend request. So they're actually in your circle as well. So it's on that. So you can, so once they are a friend request, they're going to see your content as well.
yeah, and you're doing that from your direct profile page. So, you know, in my case, it's, you know, Tracy Lee Kent. So
Yeah.
I'm doing it directly from I'm putting all my content on my main profile page, obviously clearly with my clear USP,
Yes.
you know, and then basically, yeah, you're finding different groups that fit your
Yeah,
niche.
correct. Yeah, fair niche in terms of and having that content piece, that USP, the alignment in terms of the content, and say who's Tracy, checks you out. Oh, yeah, that's something that more likely to continue that conversation you've just started.
Right. Got it.
So that's just going in the background. I'll just leave it going. So that is another thing. So I'll just go back to this. So summary. Be intentional in your messaging. Now, the first to talk is do that manual. Before we talk about automation and all that fancy stuff, get your messenger game in terms of the psychology around opening, nurturing, booking calls, understanding the vibe, understanding it's, you know, do your due diligence. Is this someone I want to have a conversation with? So kind of be intentional in your messaging. And be present in your messaging. Don't have multiple browsers opening and multiple conversations at a time. Be present, because people will see that in terms of, you know, that you're actually listening, you're actually engaging with them. Use your content to start conversations. I think it's a no-brainer. You know, that'll set you apart from 95% of other people. I say I can hand on one hand the many people have actually engaged with my content. And if somebody had engaged with my content, would I be much more open to a conversation? Of course I would, because they've actually taken their time in their day to actually engage with that. So use their content, start the conversations. Build rapport and go for the no. So can I say build a nurturing, be the vibe of the conversation, and book and pivot to the call. Hey, love our conversation. I'd love to give you some feedback on what I'm doing. And then get them and no worries, this isn't something you need right now. but propose the call, go for the no. It's whether get a no than a maybe, or just leave it hanging. You know, even if you feel maybe there's a friction within you to say, I don't know if I should, go for the call. Go for the call. And then give them a reason to book an appointment. Just say, hey, let's get on a call. No, when your thing is, give them a reason. Hey, you know, in the conversation, some of the content, you know, give them a, you know, something that they, you know, you're being curious about. You know, the curiosity factor comes in. You want to be curious about them, curious about something they're dealing with. Hey, I think I can help you, but I'm not sure. This is always the mindset you should be coming from. So give them a reason to kind of book the call. And use tags to track your customer journey. Using those tags, as I doesn't have to be like mine. I have maybe, you know, 9 tags, but you can do really simple in terms of those cold, warm, hot tags. And only use automation gated groups. As I was saying, the find groups are very aligned to kind of where your customer's at, and then just set the automation to go. And you know, you'll wake up in the morning with a lot of people saying, yeah, love that. And then, you know, you continue those conversations with the framework I've set. So any questions on that? Any questions on that? This is what I do to book my calendar solid for the last 12 months. Nothing more simple than that. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It's the messenger game is the game. I'm gonna say content is important. I'm not saying content is really important, but the rubber meets the road and kind of getting the metrics about conversation started, proposed calls, booked appointments, offers made, starts in Messenger, getting the right psychology in Messenger, and to get to pivot to get book calls. And then if you got that right psychology, you just keep on doing it, you know, and layer in some of the automation in terms of afterwards. But if you're just starting, you know, using that framework to kind of get sitcom calls, make some of that. Okay, all right. Any questions about that? Dawn, Jane, Chris, anybody? Makes sense? It doesn't make sense?
Yes. Yeah. When are you doing the next one, Michael?
What? Well, I could do one on the CRM. The CRM is a really powerful tool. To see that, I just got glimpsed. That's the back end in terms of managing all of these, because you're going to be having all of these conversations. People are maybe not ready. You don't want to be, you know, only about 3% of people are ready to buy now. That's the reality. But you don't want to lose those people, the fortunes in the follow-up. You want to be keeping those people in your list and kind of nurturing those people and keeping them in a central repository. And that CRM helps you see where everybody is. So,
okay, just speaking of CRM, does this tool allow us to integrate with the CRM? Meaning to say, everybody who accepts our friend request and starts a conversation,
yeah.
Does the tool allow us to sync with the get response?
Yeah, as soon as I change that tag, it goes into CRM. You go straight into that. So that customer journey in terms of you say, you know, appointment booked. If I change that appointment booked, it would go into the CRM as an appointment booked.
Into the CRM of specific to that tool, or into any CRM we choose. So if you have our own CRM,
the particular tool I have is Go High Level. That's this here, you know, that mirrors. I created that pipeline. That's there. It's pipeline here. If I put up here, that LP, which is the LP on this here, sort of LP here. That's lead pipeline. So I created that in my CRM. So that LP there. So if I edit that, you can see that pipeline, new lead, nurturing, appointment proposed. So all of these, I created all that, and then that's mirrored through the API. It's linked from that CRM back to Messenger. So when I change this, it automatically changes into CRM. So I know exactly where people are.
Okay.
So opportunity. So basically in your opportunity stage. So you can look at all your opportunities at a glance and say, hey, I've got a lot, front end, I need to be booking more appointments. I need to be, I've got some break here. In terms, okay, I've got a lot of follow-ups here. Okay, I've got to do more follow-ups. So I can see at a glance what I need to do. So that's in the morning when you're doing your morning routine in terms of your business. Okay, I bring up this. Okay, what's my opportunity profile look at the minute? And I could look at this.
Yes.
So just look at this, Michael. This is how I've come on board with you then, because this process you used on me, didn't you?
Yes.
I recognize it. So it's like, oh, you cheeky thing. So yeah, I responded to a message that wasn't directly sent from you. So that's quite funny to actually see it in action, and you've converted me. So yeah, it does work.
That's right. Yeah, it does. But it's not, it's in some way, I'm not stealing. I'm not, I must point out, I'm not in competition with someone else, because people are aligned with different, people, they resonate with different people. I'm not taking anybody for sort of, I'm better than he is, or dishing dirt on someone else. That is not the place you should be coming from.
No, and I didn't feel that way because I knew which group you'd come in from.
Yeah.
So it was quite curious how you appeared. And then I looked into you and had a look about you.
That's where the content piece comes in. You're looking at content, resonate with someone like that. Yeah, that's someone, I could have a conversation with.
Yeah. So yeah, the process does work. So it's interesting to see it from the back.
Yeah. And this is the whole back end of it in terms of your role. You can see where things are. So okay. I'll go back to where this here. So this is kind of using tags, use customization. Okay, what is that? So I will just focus on, okay, that's a summary. So if you find this interesting, I'm running a 4-week Messenger Mastery course on this with a premium version of ALM Pro. So what you saw in terms of that Pro version, I will set you up, get all the tags for you, set you all up, and we can look at conversations you've had and making sure kind of the psychology of Messenger is right, that you're booking calls and you're getting on calls with the right people. So a 4-week course, including kind of free version, because I am a partner with this particular software that what you just saw. So I have access to kind of the premium version of that. So for that, people watching this in the live or kind of here in the chat, you want me to help you in terms of your Messenger game, but so you're actually booking calls. Because I say, if you're not booking calls, you're not in front of people, putting your offer in front of it, and actually you're not making sales at the end of the day. So I can't stress enough how Messenger game, and this is the biggest leverage I had in my business, was learning how to use Messenger right. Before I was completely lost and relying more on my content. If you're relying on your content, it's not going to be enough. You need your content and your Messenger game on point to actually book your calendar solid. So if anybody's interested, taking 3 people at that price point, we say with the premium version of ALM Pro, I'll set it all up and we'll get your Messenger game on point. So drop them in chat if you're interested, and we'll take it from there. So if anybody, any questions on any final questions on any of that?
No questions, but I do love, the clarity and this, it's sort of simple, but the clarity of just getting the person you're speaking with from cold to into the follow-up.
That's right.
And just that just creates an order and structure to
This is about the most
makes
direct.
more sense to the strategy. It's a strategy because it's something that's done, that's staged over time, and yeah, it's not clear necessarily when you first hit it, that, yeah, but it makes great sense. Yeah.
So this using Messenger is the most important thing you can do. You know, you think about it, you know, if you have a content game and kind of the content is how you move people more than was intimate conversations, not coming across as sales here, not thinking kind of for the sale, actually there to serve and moving them naturally to kind of booking a call. So that's all you're doing, making it as low friction as possible for them to book a call with you.
And if on the first time, like you're not necessarily booking the call or having the appointment, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's dead.
No,
And if you're tracking it, then yeah, it's going through the stages. Then it's not dead.
no, it's not. Most of the say only 3% are ready to take action straight away. So you're kind of people on follow-up, fortunes in the follow-up. So you put a tag as in short-term. I have one short-term follow-up and long-term follow-up. So short-term follow-up is I come back in 3 months' time, or long-term follow-up. It's like I'm not interested, but you know, come back in 6 months, whatever. So you can keep people on the thing and the software actually allows you to book something in the calendar as well. So if you say, hey, come back on a particular date, you can set a reminder in your calendar for that particular contact to come back as well. I didn't touch that in terms of that. I'll just show you that here. This button here, this is what sits on top. This button here, if I click it, reminder to reach out to such and such, and I can put a date. Hey, in the 19th, for someone to come back and say, hey, I'm not in that space. Can you come back? Can you circle back on this date? And you have it in your calendar. So you don't lose that, because it's like you can get lost with so many things going on. That's a really powerful.
And then Michael, that links to your tags, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does that link to your tags? Yeah.
Yeah, that's universal. Whatever thing at that, it's the software will load this up. That's an additional thing there. You can put a note there. I don't know that, but this here is the only thing I use. Whereby that links with your Google Calendar, so you can put that in. Say, come back in 2 weeks' time. I put that in. That's now my calendar for this particular. If it was, this particular person. That it's they'll reach out to that person. It's in my calendar. That's on its own is huge. Because then you sort of think, because you're having conversations with people all day and say, well, was there some guy I was supposed to get back to? And you're losing that. So okay. Okay, stop sharing. Done. So okay. So all right. So if anybody's interested, 3 people dropped the MM. More than happy to kind of give you, what this means, because that's, this is the game. This is the game. Messenger mastery in terms of how to book calls in Messenger. Such an important skill to master. Okay. Any final questions on that before?
No, Michael, thanks a lot for making time for that. We really appreciate that. And I will contact you on LinkedIn. Okay. Because I need to reflect on that for some time, because as I mentioned earlier, I dumped Facebook for a couple of years now, and I was focusing more on LinkedIn and Twitter. Now you sparked a new thing into my mind. I need to reconsider going back into Facebook and see how it goes. And then to think, can I manage now 3 automations in parallel, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn? So I need to reflect on that, and I'll get in touch with you.
Okay, no worries. So I do this on Messenger, kind of this is really run off my Facebook profile and kind of that stuff. But then I've got in LinkedIn and other things, I use a lot of lead magnets, and that CRM brings everything together. terms of all of that stuff as well.
Yeah,
See,
and that's what I want to discuss, because I have my own CRM and I want things to get linked. Otherwise, it will go haywire here and there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I want to keep things centralized in a way. Yeah.
Okay, just drop me a DM. We can book a call in terms of that.
Sure. Sure. All right. Thanks a lot for your time, and I need to log out now.
No
I have
worries.
something else to finish. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Ciao. Ciao, everyone.
Hi, Nick. Thanks, Rex, Tracy, HJ, Don.
Michael.
Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
call. Thanks for everything.
Thanks. Thanks. Thanks.
Hi, Nick.
Hey,
How you-
Mike. Sorry, mate. I had to do some work and I came back late. So, can you send me the recording so I can have a look, just so I can have a bit of visual on it? Because I was really not happy. I had to go. And I just came in right at the end.
All right, no worries.
You
I
can
will-
send me the recordings.
Yeah,
That-
it's live in the group kind of in that, so it should be, you can probably watch it from there. It's all streamed in the group. I think you're a member of anyway. So it should be there anyway.
Oh, well, when you finish uploading it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I had to run off, and I was really not happy because I wanted to watch it live with you, but obviously that didn't happen. I thought, damn, I can get back maybe on time. I'm like, nah, that didn't happen. It's like, fucking hell, man. It's like, oh, I just want to really like going, oh, I was looking forward to it as well, you know. So sorry about that.
That's all right, no worries.
How was the group?
That's all right. I'll end the call. I'll end this here. We can talk offline.
Yeah, just